Welcome into Jags A.M. I'm Kainani Stevens. Brian Sexton, John Oehser with me today as we go over preseason game number 2. Headed to New Orleans over the weekend, and the Jaguars looking much better than what we saw in the first preseason game. So let's start out with our big things presented to you by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association. And it was practice not perfect. All this week, they focused on 2 different things. First, they focused on the mental aspects of not making mistakes, alignment issues that they saw in the preseason game number 1, and Trevor talked about the focus on that in practice this week.
It was good, just really, we always harp on the details, so I wouldn't say it's new in that way. I think this staff and everyone does a really good job of stressing how important the details are, but really letting that kind of drive practice. If anything was wrong, it was started over, and usually in practice you have those mistakes. Every team, everyone does it, and you kind of correct them after. But one of the days this week we really just started everything over when those things happened. We were looking for all that. The coaches did a good job of slowing it down. So we slowed some of the tempo down as far as post snap, but just really focusing on all the pre-snap stuff because keep doing the same thing and getting the same results. So I thought it was a good job by the staff of changing some stuff up, and I think it helped us this week.
Brian, we've both been around a bunch of different kinds of coaches before, but this week I think it was important to be one of those coaches where if you're not doing it right, we're not done with this drill, we're not done with this exercise. Tons of focus on doing things the correct way, even if it seems really simple. Because of those silly mistakes they saw in the first game, it was not perfect by any means, but it was nice to see a lot of that cleaned up in terms of penalties, in terms of penalties in the second preseason matchup.
Kai, one of the storylines for this training camp in preseason was that the head coach, Liam Cohen, was a first-time head coach. So we were watching him as much as we were looking at his offense or the defense just to see how he does things. I've been very impressed listening to him and to see the things that he does. You got me with this one. But he has impressed me. The story of the game was assignment and alignment as far as I was concerned. And Bucky and I, during the telecast yesterday, just tracked it from start to finish. And yes, there was a mistake. They had the fumble. But there were no pre-snap mistakes, which they had seen against the Steelers, John. And they didn't have any other than the fumble, the DBOs. Don't beat ourselves. And I thought that the week of practice paid off magnificently.
Yeah, look, I'm usually a guy who likes a coach who, during practice, play, move on, don't go back and repeat, because you can't go back and repeat during the game. I think as time moves on with the veteran team, that's how you approach it. But last week, that was not the way to approach it. And there was a day that Trevor mentioned where they flat out said, we are not going to allow mistakes. We're going to get this fixed. Preseason has changed so much that you don't really know who's playing for the opponent anymore. I have no idea what the system is in terms of starters. Saints didn't play starters, I guess. I don't care anymore. I just care what the Jaguars do. And what the Jaguars did was fix the glaring thing that had been hurting them. It had been the theme of camp. And if they get that right, Liam clearly believes don't make mistakes and you give yourself a chance. Yesterday they gave themselves a chance.
And Kai, just a point. I think that if the Jaguars start to play well this year and they don't make mistakes, don't beat themselves, I think we'll look back at this week of practice. And normally, John, we don't remember practice during training camp. We don't talk about it after we get into the regular season. But we might be turning around and looking at that week and the way that Liam approached it.
Yeah, certainly the time of year to be working on that sort of thing. Our second big thing today is going to be get physical, because the other focus of practice last week was physicality. They went up against a tough Steelers team, didn't see all that they wanted to see, but Coach Cohen felt good about this week of practice and what he saw in New Orleans.
Had a very physical week of practice, and then they came out and played physically, and they also played smarter in a lot of ways. So I definitely believe that this team responded in the right way, from being challenged post-Steelers game to coming out having one of our better practices at training camp this week, then having a little bit of a uglier scrimmage, and then you come out and you start fast, and the ones and twos, I feel like for the most part really competed at a higher level than maybe we had, and there was no question that they were trying to play physical.
John, when Liam Cohen came in, he said physicality was what he wanted to be part of this team's identity. That was another focus in practice this week. Did you feel like it translated yesterday?
Yeah, as I said, it's gotten so hard. It's always been hard to analyze preseason. Now it's even harder because you don't know what you're looking at in terms of, was this offensive line playing against their ones? Was this? So you get to the point where you look for glimpses and you look for things that you think the coach is looking for. And I thought there were, on the first two series, which are the ones that mattered to me, there were times, especially on the second one, where they dominated the line of scrimmage, where they showed what they want to be. Now, are they going to be able to do that against a team's starters? I don't know. But you wanted to come out of this preseason with an idea of how this team wanted to be. 3rd and 3 on the touchdown drive, they ran Travis Etienne for 6 yards. That is a sign of what Liam Cohen wants this offense to be. He wants it to be able to run when it wants and needs to run. And there were moments of that the other day, or on Sunday. And I thought maybe that's my biggest takeaway from the game.
You know, you can't convince the other team that you are a physical team until you convince your own team. And so going into the second quarter and into the third, they kept with the run. Both of Bhayshul Tuten's touchdowns in this preseason were a result of physical effort inside the 20-yard line, which I love to see. Lots of coaches, every coach says, we want to be physical. Of course, football is a physical game. But not every coach will stick with it like Liam Cohen is showing us that he will do. And so he's instituting that in the culture of his team. They expect to play the run. They expect to be physical. And listen, that's what Liam Cohen did in Tampa that brought him here to be the head coach. He resurrected the running game. It fixed the quarterback. And the Buccaneers went into the playoffs last year. That's what the Jaguars want and need him to do here.
Yeah, I thought both of Tuten's touchdowns this preseason were sort of tone setting. The one last week where they sort of pushed him into the end zone. And yesterday, they got to the 9-yard line with the pass to Hunter Long, and then 3 3-yard runs by Tuten. And they basically decided we're going to run the ball into the end zone. So, again, it's preseason, but that's what they want to be.
Our final big thing today is going to be about the O-line. The O-line shuffle. We've seen a ton of movement along the offensive line so far. And then yesterday, some late scratches. Anton Harrison and Chuma Edoga didn't go, so we saw players playing in multiple positions. You see that in the preseason, but they're trying to get the handle of it. It can make it more difficult. Patrick McCary, one of those players who played a couple positions yesterday, but he feels like they're getting there.
I think understanding what's expected of us and really diving in on that playbook and keeping us all accountable on that. The more we do that, the more we grow, the more intent we have behind what we're doing. I think we're only going to get better and better with it.
Brian, we should also mention reports of a trade that Luke Fortner is going to be leaving. The former center didn't play last season, was potentially fighting for that backup role, but he's going to be heading to New Orleans. And Colin Saunders, defensive tackle, could be coming here. So addition to the defensive line, subtraction from the offensive line, but they're clearly addressing that issue. We can talk a little bit more about the defensive tackle later, but the O-line still seems like they're in the mix of trying to figure out exactly who the 5 are going to be. You know,
Kai, we talked in the spring about all the pieces that they brought in to fortify the offensive line, whether it was McCary that you're talking about or Edoga, whether it was the draft pick of Milam, or Trevor Monheim, by the way, who is the young center from USC that they like a lot, who made Luke Fortner a guy that they could trade if that's what they're doing. So they brought the pieces in, and John, the offensive line was a major question mark through 2 games. Boy, it looks like they have answers to the questions. And last week on the practice field, 5 different guys got reps at left tackle. Yesterday, McCary had to step out and play right tackle. Fred Johnson went over and played right tackle to start the game in place of Harrison. They've got a lot of questions, but it seems like they've got a lot of answers and a lot of pieces to be able to find new answers should new questions arise.
Yeah, I think they're still looking. I think they're still looking at the left tackle position. But I thought yesterday was significant. You had Edoga out. You had Anton Harrison out. Cole Van Lanen's still out. I think those are 3 of their top 9 when they start the season. So it feels like they're living up to what they said this preseason was going to be, which is not stopping looking for answers until they find them. And there were very few preconceived notions about this offensive line. So, so far, so good. We'll see week 1.
All right, stay with us here on Jags A.M. Coming up, we'll look at some of the highlights from yesterday's preseason game against the Saints.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
What's the best part about lawn care during the winter? You can give it a rest. Lawns only need watering up to once a week. Really, that's it. Using less water means you're saving time and money that you can put towards something else. Before you run your sprinklers, remember, give it a rest and only water up to once a week. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
The kick is up. It's good!
Field goals for Firehouse Subs are back. That means when the Jags score from deep, you do too. Anytime the Jags score a field goal that's 40 yards or more, you can get a free medium sub with the purchase of any other medium sub online or in the app for 4 days following the game. So cheer on the Jags, watch for the big kicks, and get your buy one, get one free medium sub at participating Firehouse Subs throughout Jacksonville when you use the app. The hottest subs in Duval. See firehousesubs.com for offer terms.
Chelsea here from Renewal by Andersen. You've seen and heard our ads where I talk about Renewal by Andersen's exclusive Fibrix material being twice as strong as vinyl, incredibly energy efficient, and custom built to fit your home perfectly. But if you haven't reached out yet, now's the time. August only. Renewal by Andersen is offering triple savings. $300 off every window, $825 off every patio door, plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0% interest for 12 months. Don't wait. Schedule your free consultation today at bestwindowsflorida.com. License number CGC 1527613.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
This game was another step in the right direction where you saw him clicking through progressions again and getting to his third and fourth reads a few times. I thought we protected him really well up front, which allows a quarterback to do those things. And also when you run the ball effectively, it also takes some pressure off the quarterback. So I was pleased with his outing tonight. Obviously the one fumble is a tough one because you just got to eat that. It's a great learning moment for him, especially in the red area where you already have points. So when you have 2 turnovers in the red zone, when you already have points, those are tough ones when you end up tying a game.
Head coach Liam Cohen kind of looking back on what he saw from Trevor Lawrence on the offense. We got to see the starters that were available. There were some last-minute scratches. It seemed, John, to me, it seemed kind of like if anybody was even sort of a question mark working on anything, they kind of just aired on the side of not playing. Obviously, we saw Travis Hunter, De'Ami Brown, some other additions to the did not dress list that maybe we hadn't known earlier in the week.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to how much different and how standard this approach is during preseason. I said at the top, the Saints didn't play very many starters. Well, by the time you got down to it, the Jaguars were without about 11 or 12 guys, and I think 11 of them, I counted, are going to matter a lot this season. So, yeah, you err on the side of if a guy is even remotely not, not ready, banged up, you don't play him. And I don't expect to see very much on Saturday either.
I wouldn't think so. Obviously, with the practice against the Dolphins this week, which is where they want to get to, the reps on the practice field are controlled and more meaningful to the coaching staffs of both teams this week than the time on the field on Saturday night.
We did see the starters for 2 drives on offense, so let's take a look at the tape. Trevor Lawrence and the offense kind of going the length of the field. Obviously, we'll get to that fumble, which we didn't love so much, but kind of opening things up, getting first downs, things you like to see there. Tanks Bigsby had a catch and kind of a run off to the side, which was nice to see him kind of break a few tackles there, get out into open space and put the Jets on a little bit. And again, it's nice to see all these running backs making moves.
Well, he was doing that last year. If you remember the game against the Colts, the game against the Texans, we saw glimpses of that, and then we saw glimpses of this in the game in Philadelphia, where Trevor made that throw that was intercepted. He's got to live to find another play, right? I'm going to praise him, by the way, in the hot takes, but that's one of those things. Learn to live to fight another play.
Yeah, I got the feeling on that play that, he's not trying to defend it because he can't make that play, but that it felt so good offensively, and they wanted to get that touchdown. That they wanted to keep that going, and they didn't have much time on the field. They knew they were only going to play 2 series. So you almost got the idea that just really wanted this play to work, didn't want to leave it on the field with that one. But yeah, you can't make that.
I was going to say, don't you agree that that's a step? That's the next step for
Sure,
him, is
no doubt.
to not think you got to be the hero on everything.
And especially on 1st and 10. Got a couple
At the
more of
11
those.
yards,
Got a couple more opportunities. Defense in week 1 of preseason, we saw kind of that, I don't know if it's a communication issue. The defense didn't look great out of the start, but we saw much better communication this week. And of course, the defense felt like they were all on the same page, which is, to me, one of the most important things because of all the communication issues they had last season. Dewey, I think, got credit for a sack here, although it looks like Shuck might have just fallen down a little bit. But also, Trayvon Walker getting into the backfield as well. It was nice to see the defense, whether or not they're going up against starters. It was nice to see them actually getting some quality reps, right? I mean, Chuck, whether the New Orleans Saints are good or not this year, that's probably going to be their starting quarterback at some point. And so to get in the backfield, kind of pressure the quarterback, it's always good to see.
Yeah, and listen, there were a couple of their starting offensive linemen in there. And so for the Jaguars to get some pressure up the middle was good. They're right here, you see. There's Trayvon Walker doing what we expect Trayvon Walker to do all season long. And talking to Anthony Campanile and Josh Allen, and Josh Hines-Allen about Trayvon, they expect to see a lot of that kind of play from him this year.
Yeah, Dewey gets the sack because he was there, and I think he would have sacked him had he not fallen down.
It's kind of like, boo.
But yeah, Trayvon, he shows up, and he's going to have a lot of sacks, and if he doesn't have a lot of sacks, he's going to have a lot of plays like that, a lot of pressures where he matters on the play. So absolutely, you don't say preseason things are musts, but boy, it had to feel good for the defensive players to have a couple of series where they got them off the field fast, where they felt like they played like they wanted to play. That felt important.
Yeah, show some progress from the week before.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at that second offensive possession, because I think when we talk about Trevor making maybe a silly mistake, right, with the fumble, trying to make something out of nothing there, it's important to bounce back, because so much of last season I felt like when something went wrong, you were just waiting for the other shoe to drop and you let it turn into a snowball effect. And it was important, at least for me, to see Trevor kind of let that go and immediately kind of go into this next drive, which was nice. And also seeing contributions all around. We talked about Tank Bigsby on that first drive, ETN here up the middle, and seeing all the running backs contribute. And then obviously Parker Washington gets the touchdown later on in this drive, and Parker's looking great in camp and translating it into the game. And because De'Ami Brown and Travis Hunter were late scratches in this one, Parker probably got a little more run time than he would have normally.
Yeah, I'll talk about Parker in a bit, but the running backs, this is what they want. This is what they want the offense to be. I mean, they want to be able to use ETN and Bigsby. They think they can both be productive. LaQuint Allen had a nice run in I think it was in the second half, maybe in the second quarter. They want to be an offense that utilizes these backs in different ways. And I thought the 2 runs by ETN, that 15-yarder that you're seeing, then the 6-yarder later on that drive, I think if you pulled Liam Cohen aside and said how were the most important plays in the game, those 2 would rank up there, because he wants to be able to run and have drives where the run is the engine rather than the pass. And I thought on that drive, the run was the engine.
If you were to ask me who has been the best player on the field during training camp consistently, I would tell you Travis Etienne. And I wouldn't have told you at the end of last year, I didn't want to see him run between the tackles again. But he came into OTAs and to the mini camp motivated. I mean, he's on a 1-year deal. And I think he has been sensational. And that run, now it helps when your offensive line is moving people and he's able to use his speed and explosiveness, but his willingness to put his nose in there and punch it in, I think he's had a sensational camp. It was 2 years ago that he was a 1,400-yard guy and 11 touchdowns on the ground. I think he can be a major threat. When you consider all the other weapons that Liam Cohen and Grant Udinski have, I think Travis Etienne has a chance to have a huge year.
let's round this out and talk about another running back because Bhayshul Tuten has impressed me. I'll talk a little bit specifically about him in the hot takes, but on this one, when it's 1st and goal, and you just give it to him 3 times in a row because you know he's going to get in there at some point. I think it was 3 yards, 3 yards, and 3 yards. But just that's what you want. You want him to go up the middle, keep his legs moving, get whatever it might be. And we've talked so long, John, about being a good running team when they know you're going to run it, right? Like that's an important thing, whether or not it's preseason, not trying to make too much of it, but having a back where you feel like you can rush with him, that's what this team needs.
Yeah, and we didn't see a lot of that kind of series, that kind of finish, where the back is just sort of rolling into the end zone. We saw in the last couple of years a lot of that back, like getting stuffed and laying on his back on the 2-yard line. Look, I know fans watching this, it's preseason. I get it, but that's how they want it to look. That's what you want to see during the preseason. It was a great sign, and to see it 4 or 5 different times now in the preseason already, we'll see if it translates to the regular season. But the money is where the mouth is in terms of they set it all off season and they're showing what they want to be. So I'm optimistic, and we'll see.
The talk about this kid draft weekend was his speed and explosiveness, and certainly that's there. But what I've been impressed with him is his patience. I mean, you can see him letting blocks set up, and not a lot of rookie running backs have that kind of patience. And when you watch him run, it's clear he is looking for where the hole is and not just punching it up in there. I think he's got the mental acuity for this game beyond just the physical. I think he's going to be a major factor this year too.
Good stuff from the rookie. Let's do the final play of the game. Obviously, play the game to win. It's preseason. We got a tie, and they don't play overtime in preseason. I think we all wanted another long Cam Little kick, but kind of going across the middle there. Was it 9 seconds were left, and then the interception, making something out of nothing. It's preseason. Doesn't matter, Brian.
No, listen. I talked to a coach who would have been involved in the conversations around the decision after the game, and his point was 60-yard field goals are not give-me's. So they practiced the situational mastery that they were looking for. They got a terrible throw, right? A bad play. The ball gets intercepted. 2 things you couldn't have, a sack or an interception, and they got the interception there. So the execution was horrible. But what they were looking for is, because you're not always going to be indoors, right? Let's see what it would take to get a couple more yards and increase the odds of success, and it didn't work.
Yeah, you made a good point yesterday, Brian. That everybody thinks because Cam hit a 70-yarder, he's going to hit all the 60s. Yeah. Go out to your local high school field, stand on the 50, and look at the goalposts.
24 feet across.
And see if it's close.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a problem with it. I kind of liked Liam's approach afterward, where he said, hey, crazy stuff happens in the preseason. And I do think they would make the same decision during the regular season, by the way, with the starters in. Your chances of getting intercepted there are low. And I do think the 5 or 6 yards matter in that situation.
Do you know,
no problem with it.
In the history of the NFL, Tom Dempsey kicked the first 60-yard field goal for the Saints at Tulane Stadium in 1970. But since then, there have only been 38 field goals, 38 in 55 years of longer than 60 yards. It's just, the coach looked me in the eye and he goes, come on, Brian, he's not Superman. It is not an easy thing to do. The goalposts are only 24 feet wide and you're 60 yards away. We're going to, with a timeout, try to get a couple more yards, or maybe position the ball a little bit more in the center of the field for the kicker. That's just good strategy. So it was situational, and we'll see how they play it. But we hear from the coach that they were looking for situations in these preseason games, and that's what that was.
And they got themselves one, for sure. All right, stay with us. We got hot takes coming up for you after the break here on Jags A.M.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
What's the best part about lawn care during the winter? You can give it a rest. Lawns only need watering up to once a week. Really, that's it. Using less water means you're saving time and money that you can put towards something else. Before you run your sprinklers, remember, give it give it a rest, and only water up to once a week. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval! Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
The moment you drop off donations at a North Florida Goodwill, your things start new lives. A donated jersey helps someone suit up for success through education and training. A pair of old cleats helps a job seeker step confidently into new career opportunities. Every donation fuels Goodwill's mission to provide education, training, and career opportunities, removing barriers to employment and building brighter futures across our community. To find your nearest donation center and learn more, visit goodwillnorthfl.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow. Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jags A.M. brought to you by Firehouse Subs. Today, specifically, our hot takes brought to you by Firehouse Subs.
Yeah, I play with Parker now for a few years, and he's, just the way the room is kind of shaken out the last couple of years. He's always been in that position, but he just keeps making plays. So I don't want to put numbers on anybody or what they are or aren't, but he keeps making plays and keeps showing up, and it's gonna be tough to keep that guy off the field the way he's playing. And I've just been impressed by the way he works. This guy is always in great shape, can play all the different positions. I think that's really what you're seeing has helped him so much, is he can move around.
Get some Parker Washington praise from Trevor Lawrence, and we all have a hot take after preseason game number 2. John, I'm going to let you go first because I think you agree with Trevor's take on Parker Washington.
Yeah, and look, I've always liked Parker as a person, talking to him. I did not think that he would force his way into the receiving rotation this year with De'Ami Brown, Travis Hunter, and Brian Thomas Jr. But I think they're going to find a way to play him.
Yeah.
And I think Liam, mentioned it, but Trevor certainly did. You look at him and think that he's a slot guy, but he can play all 3 different positions, so he's going to be absolutely valuable because he knows how to play them all. If one of these guys gets hurt or if Travis Hunter is in a phase where he's not playing much, they have an option. But I don't know how they're going to do it. I haven't talked to enough people to know sort of what it's going to look like. But my understanding is they're sort of dealing with it and saying, we got to find a way to get this guy on the field. He makes too many plays.
When was the last time we had that problem around here?
I think you said in the last segment that Travis Etienne was best player in camp.
You think he is?
Parker might be.
Okay.
I mean, he's close.
Right, and who thought that was going to be the case when training camp began? Draft and develop, which they haven't done enough of around here, but it looks like there's a couple of young players, and Parker Washington's one of them.
I've just been impressed with what he's been able to do the last couple seasons as well. I think you got to give him credit for being thrust into positions where, maybe he wasn't ready or he didn't know where he was going to be. When you talk about, I think Brenton Strange did some of that too last year. When you're dealing with injuries, it's you take the playing time wherever you get it, and Parker Washington has taken that and run with it, certainly so far with what we've seen so far in training camp.
He has a great attitude too. If you ever listened to him or talked to him, he is a guy who understood that the odds were against him, and he never let that become an issue. He became a great special teams performer. I just love to talk to him too.
All right, Brian, what's your hot take for us?
I don't know that I've seen Trevor play that effectively. He was as good during those 2 drives. Now, we already mentioned the fumble, and that was a bad decision. But there were 2 throws, 3 in particular, John, that had me excited about him. The 3rd and 8 to Brenton Strange, where he climbed the pocket and you thought, well, he's going to put it down and run, and he didn't. He buzzed his feet and then just threaded the ball to Brenton Strange. I thought that was an example of him understanding the offense. It was a beautiful throw. Later, 3rd and 2, another 10-yard throw on the run, moving the ball right through traffic into Brenton Strange. And then I hate that turn his back and roll out.
Other way, yeah.
He got hurt against the Colts last year with that one. I don't like that play, but it was tighter yesterday, and then he stopped and waited for Brian Thomas for half a step. I just was really impressed with his poise, his patience in the pocket, the way that he went through the reads, call it discipline. I left the broadcast booth yesterday thinking he's ready to take a big step forward. How long it takes him to actually make it, he's ready.
Yeah, I'm encouraged. It seems like, I keep using the phrase, and I'm not sure it's right, that he's getting his feet under him in this offense. And I don't think he's trying to be spectacular. I think he is still going through the learning phase of this offense, making sure that he knows the footwork proper, making sure that he knows what they're asking of him. And it seems like he's sort of taking the approach, I'm going to get to 6 or 7, meaning I'm going to learn how to run it. I'm going to drive the speed limit, if you will. Yeah. And then at some point, he's going to take the restrictor plate off
because he can, right,
and go. So I like the fact that so far he seems very in control, very poised in it, because if he gets that the spectacular is in him. Yeah. So I think I'm encouraged as well.
Fingers crossed. I'd like to see the progression, and I hope this continues into the regular season. I'm going positive for my hot take as well. It's almost Tuten time, I think. Toot, 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 toot. At the beginning of training camp, I felt like it's a crowded running back room, and I felt like everyone had their strengths. But slowly, I'm getting to the point where I feel like Tuten can do almost all of those things as well, if not better than some of his competitors. So for me, my hot take is going to be, I think Tuten will be getting the bulk of the carries before the bye week. Because for me, we talked about his speed right out of college. We already knew that, right? Brian, you talked about his patience out there, his vision, his tenacity, keeping his legs moving, and then working with what's being given to him, right? Because you want to wait for the hole to open up so you can make a burst, not trying to run around the tackles. You got to wait for things to play out. He's showing he can do that, and his dependability thus far has been impressive to me because you know what you're getting every time he gets the ball. So I think sooner than later, he might be the lead back.
You're on the Tuten train.
I'm on the Tuten train.
I can hear the toot-toot.
Toot-toot.
I think there's a possibility of that. I also think that they're in an unreal situation because I think Travis Etienne may have something to say about it, which is what you want. So,
that's great.
But that's not out of the realm of possibility.
We'll have to see how things play out. Stay with us. We'll tell you what's coming up the rest of the week, including joint practice in Miami later this week.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Chelsea here from Renewal by Andersen. You've seen and heard our ads where I talk about Renewal by Andersen's exclusive Fibrix material being twice as strong as vinyl, incredibly energy efficient, and custom built to fit your home perfectly. But if you haven't reached out yet, now's the time. August only. Renewal by Andersen is offering triple savings. $300 off every window, $825 off every patio door, plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0% interest for 12 months. Don't wait. Schedule your free consultation today at bestwindowsflorida.com. License number CGC 1527613.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
The kick is up. It's good!
Field goals for Firehouse Subs are back. That means when the Jags score from deep, you do too. Anytime the Jags score a field goal that's 40 yards or more, you can get a free medium sub with the purchase of any other medium sub online or in the app for 4 days following the game. So cheer on the Jags, watch for the big kicks, and get your buy one, get one free medium sub at participating Firehouse Subs throughout Jacksonville when you use the app. The hottest subs in Duval. See firehousesubs.com for offer terms. The moment you drop off donations at a North Florida Goodwill, your things start new lives. A donated jersey helps someone suit up for success through education and training. A pair of old cleats helps a job seeker step confidently into new career opportunities. Every donation fuels Goodwill's mission to provide education, training, and career opportunities, removing barriers to employment and building brighter futures across our community. To find your nearest donation center and learn more, visit goodwillnorthfl.org. Goodwill, where your things start new lives.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. Zipchair is furniture for fans.
I mean, it was amazing. Heck, first off, me being able to make his last treatment day was awesome to be there. The nurses were so kind and so helpful throughout the whole journey. They made his his journey a lot easier, and they made it special for that day, man. I'm so happy and glad that he's done with treatment, and we can continue to progress as a 7-year-old boy.
I want to take a moment to celebrate Josh Hines Allen and his family's special moment. His 7-year-old son, Wesley, diagnosed with leukemia back in January, has done 6 months of treatment, but his final chemotherapy appointment was last week and got to ring the bell, and such a wonderful family. So Josh and his wife Kaylin and Wesley, of course, who you guys may know because he walked out with him when he was drafted. That was Wesley. He's 7 years old now, and very fortunate to be done with treatment.
And people know him because Josh lives in Jacksonville. I mean, his family is here. He's a part of the community. He's always out and about doing things, and so they're not strangers. And I know there's a lot of people that are praying for him.
Yeah, good, sincere guy, and I'm glad that's going well.
Yeah. Behind them, absolutely. Talk football real quick. We're headed to Miami. We're going to have practice here tomorrow and Wednesday, but then the team goes down there, joint practice with the Dolphins. There's always something to get out of joint practice, and it's nice to go up against a team that's not your own.
Can't wait to see it. I mean, that's a team that in 2 of the last 3 years has been a playoff team, 10-win team. So they obviously have a lot of talent and a lot of speed, and the Jaguars will be better for having practiced against them.
Yeah, and I get the idea. This will be the one joint practice. I get the idea. I get the idea listening to Liam Cohen. This will be the last time that we have that few for a while. I think he likes this format.
We'll also be live Jags A.M. on Thursday from practice. John, you can bring your sun hat?
Yes, I will bring my sun hat.
Okay,
so
we love that.
I'm fired up.
Absolutely. All right, we will be back in studio here on Jags A.M. on Wednesday with you. See you then.